The title of his speech is Do It Yourself. It's coming from the Competent Communicator Manual. It's assignment number 3, Get to the Point. It's being evaluated tonight by Jeff Gillane. So would you please welcome, with his speech entitled Do It Yourself, Mark Reyes.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow members and guests. As the effects of the global financial crisis really start to hit Australian pockets, thoughts turn to ways of saving money. It is therefore no surprise that the phenomenon known as do-it-yourself, or DIY, has once again become popular, supported by no less than the great Napoleon Bonaparte, who himself said, "If you want something done well, do it yourself." Spice racks, kitchens, gardens have all fallen victim to the DIY weekend hero. Tonight, I hope to inspire you to commit to a DIY project that will help save you money. Specifically, this evening I will outline the steps required to complete an oil change on your car. It's the middle of the week, and you remember that your car is due for an oil change. And in response to the global financial crisis, you decide that you're going to do it yourself. So you jump online and research the project because who has time to go to a mechanic and speak to him about the process? You print out the list of parts required and a step-by-step guide. There is, of course, no time during the week to complete said task. So you cancel all your plans for Saturday morning and commit that day to completing the oil change. Saturday morning arrives, and you get up particularly early, not only just to get a head start on your task, but to keep the task a little bit private because, hey, who needs a hand when you're doing it yourself? You get to the store and are met by a mountain of tools and fluids just staring back at you. You try to find the materials yourself, but after 20 minutes you decide, hey, I think I'm going to need a hand. So you enlist the services of the employees that are more than willing to help you find your parts, placing total blind trust in their expert advice. You pay for your purchases and go home. Now, let's see what that printed procedure has to say. Firstly, you'll need to jack up the car and place it on stands. This will allow you to work under your car safely. However, if you do this, please place your handbrake, otherwise it will roll away from you, specifically into the garden. And we all know how your partner will react to this. With the car set up and secured on jack stands, it's time for you to wriggle underneath the car with oil drain pan in hand. You undo the sump plug and make sure that all the oil waste drains into the oil pan. Once all the oil is drained from the engine, it's time to replace the oil filter. So you put the oil pan to the side, and with filter wrench and oil filter in hand, you get back underneath the car. Now, from this view, the bottom of the engine can look like a quite intimidating sight. However, you press on, determined to save yourself some money and learn a new trade. Wrench in hand, and after a few jarred fingers and scraped knuckles, you finally just secure the wrench on the old oil filter. You pull. You pull. You pull one more time. It just won't budge. It's obviously stuck, but you decide that you're going to teach it a lesson. So you spin on both hands, brace yourself, and give it one more mighty pull. It still doesn't move. However, in the process, you've managed to bang your head and your hands against the entire underside of the car. And you also managed to kick that oil pan that wasn't so far away from your feet. Angrily, you look at the instructions, ready to curse, when the instructions push on lever to remove oil filter. Leave out from the page. You head back underneath the car. The old oil filter now comes off with relative ease. Now it's time for you to replace the oil. You open the bonnet of the car, you insert the funnel and begin to pour the new oil into the car. It's taking quite some time, longer than you'd expected. Then you hear a trickling sound, passing it off as the neighbour's hose. Then you see it, a golden fluid racing from underneath your car towards that garden again. You, of course, have forgotten to replace the sump plug. You now have both the old oil and the new oil racing towards this awesome garden. This should be fun to explain to your partner later. This is followed again by another trip to the auto store to buy some more oil. This time, making sure that you've replaced the sump plug, you once again pour the oil into the car's engine. It now fills nice and quickly and to the designated point. You replace the engine oil cap, close the bonnet, lower the car back to the ground, and start the car. It purrs effortlessly into life, almost in gratitude for the job well done. Waves of relief wash over you waves of relief and satisfaction wash over you for a job well done. This wonderful feeling, however, is quickly stifled by your partner, who has now left the house and seen the wonderful job you've done on the garden. The old oil and the new oil have made pretty little pools in the garden, where you instantly realise your next do-it-yourself project will be to clean the garden from all the oil. You do your best to calm your partner down, and as you head back into house, you do your best to calm your partner down, even offering to fix them a nice breakfast. They've now let you off the hook, not just before showing you the note you'd placed on the fridge, stating that you'd booked your car in for service on Monday. I hope that my instructional piece has achieved two things. One, giving you an idea of how to change the oil in your car, and B, encouraged you to complete your own do-it-yourself project in the future. Two final pieces of advice are to ensure that you prepare and understand the task thoroughly at hand, and never to hesitate to ask for expert advice. In this instance, it's okay to pay for a mechanic to complete an oil change in your car. Last I heard, he needs money too for a do-it-yourself project on his garden.